copies of the packets.
These?
No,
Oh, this one here.
the other packets, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I do. Boy, am I with it. Here you go.
Oh, there we go.
I thought it was thick, I thought it was everything all at once.
Was it a packet for each of us? What's the story here? I'm
Oh,
sorry.
you're doing the same thing I did?
Sleep at the wheel.
Yeah,
No.
that has the agenda and, it was left on the table for us. It
Oh.
has the agenda and the special permit.
Got one extra. I think. Yes.
Is John not coming again?
John was not able to get sworn in yet,
Oh, wow.
but he assures me he'll have it taken care of for the next meeting. Because
Oh.
we can't have the next meeting unless he does.
Right.
Oh, I have one extra one here,
Yeah.
maybe here.
Put it right here.
Oh, hold on, maybe it's for him.
think
I was
it's
about to say,
got
did
one.
I send mine down the line?
Did you get?
Oh, yeah, I have an
Oh,
extra.
did you
Yeah,
get this
does
one?
he have it now?
No, I did not get that one.
Right, we need that.
Can you hand this down to Christopher? He wanted to, my records on the, so the first file is Capasto when they owned it, and the second file is the new owner, all related to 26. I was gonna do a cheat sheet for you, but I didn't get that far.
I still appreciate it.
Everything's in there, including the, gravel pit bylaw, or general bylaw.
The terrible pit? That's what it sounded like.
No, the,
I don't have a thing on this side, so.
no, I'm on your deaf side,
I
okay.
got 2 weeks before I get my replacement. Are we on the air?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yep.
You are, yes.
Thank you.
Uncensored.
Everybody ready?
I heard that much.
I think we are. We should be able to
Three
begin.
of us.
Excellent. So, calling to order the regular meeting of the planning board, recognizing that we have 4 members present and our alternate, so we have a quorum. Going forward off the agenda, we have.
That do broadcast live?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
This meeting is being recorded and is also being broadcast live. And going to the agenda, first item is public comments. We have no public here, so we have no public comments. Next on the list is approval of minutes. Has everyone had a chance to take a look at those
I did,
minutes?
yes.
I'll make that motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Excellent.
I second the motion. Counselor
So-
Tiger?
Hearing a second and a first, any discussion?
I have a little, there's a word missing. You can put
Uh-oh.
it in here. It's, on page 2,
All right, let me.
under public comment, the second line down, says, Mr. Parisi, the times chosen are the most stable times. I think there needs to be a said in there. Mr. Parisi said that right at times, so just put the word said in.
Let me just grab my copy here.
Other than that, I think it was okay.
And where was that in there again?
Under, see public comment on page 2, 2 lines down, the second line says, the second sentence, Mr. Parisi, the times chosen are the most stable.
Yep.
Just put the word said in, and I think we've got it. And, there's one other thing is, on page 3, under public comment, this is public comments following the discussion of the use of, the lot. It should be instead of 10,000, 5,000, cause that was the fee for those 2 lots together.
Okay, so that is before of
So it's
CPC
the
funds
public
back?
comment, 3rd paragraph down, see the 10,000 in the middle?
Yes.
Should be 5,000. Cause they combined the lots, so we had to pay twice.
Anything else?
Nope.
Going once, going twice? Well, let's have a vote on that then.
Livedell, aye.
Holman's eye?
Steiger, aye.
Monroe, aye. So moving down the list, action items. The first one is put on as public hearing for a special permit. That's actually not the case. We closed
Right.
the public hearing. We're actually looking at this administratively now because we did approve it.
Mm-hmm.
So calling your attention to the document. Actually, Bo, could you give us a quick summary of what's going on just for the sake of the public and those of you at home?
Sure, this was, I actually don't have a copy in front of me, foolishly. So that is, as requested by the board at our last meeting, closest we could find to like a safety sheet to sort of inform everybody here of just basics, of sort of treatment as to maybe ingesting too much of the rosin that we're gonna be pressing and making from the bubble hash. We pulled that stuff together from, kind of the leading websites of like the general information that host most of the interface with the public. Leafly is one of them. And it's, that's what we are, it's what we have so far. Obviously, if there's more needs to be added or, that was, just wanted to present that as
Right.
what we have so far.
Does the board have any questions on it?
I do. On the second page, the stability and reactivity stable at temperatures below 74 degrees. Can we state as to whether or not that is centigrade or Fahrenheit?
Fahrenheit.
Okay. You also, for the purposes of clarity, use the terminology SOP on items 12 and 13. Can you state what SOP stands for?
Standard operating procedure, so these are.
Thought so.
Yep.
That's what, yeah.
And these SOPs that we reference here are, they're in our, obviously, they're in our state application, and these are for what all marijuana businesses have to, same procedures and protocols they have to adhere to for disposing of marijuana or a marijuana product. And it's basically 2 agents log the destruction or disposal of the thing and then do it in a space viewed by a camera so that's, if and when it was gonna be destroyed, it would be in accordance with those.
Can I ask also, on item number 9, what happens if this goes above 74 degrees? I mean, I'm assuming that this is going to be in a temperature-controlled environment, meaning you have an air-conditioned room, because it does get hot.
Climate-controlled vault,
Okay.
correct.
But should that fail and you have that going above 74 degrees, what does it do? It vaporizes, or what happens?
No, it just liquefies.
Oh, so it's solid?
Yep.
Or waxy, I should say.
It's waxy,
Okay.
exactly. It's like beeswax, so it's
Yep.
almost identical in texture.
But it's not volatile at that point?
It is not volatile at all. There's no alcohol, you have to hold a live flame to it.
Yeah.
And even then, it still has to be a very small amount or it won't ignite. It has to be a small, the way some patients ingest this is with it's a very small amount. So it would just be a liquid in the jar at that point, above 70.
You answered my question, which
Yeah.
was really to understand what stability means, and it's primarily that it is not volatile.
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board about this document? And then we'll move on to the decision.
I'm all set.
Alright, so,
Uh,
go ahead.
So this is your final version of this here?
That is, yeah.
And the source, is this copied directly from the source, meaning the American Council of Science and Health?
Certain
extracted
aspects
from
of
it.
it were taken from all of those sources.
All the other
Correct.
sources,
Yeah, it was
gotcha.
pulled together. So that was one of the challenges here, it's not, even though it's a controlled substance, it's not really considered toxic, and
Mhm. That's fine.
it's usually only processed, and Patrick, Lee, my wife and myself, I called my lawyer who's licensed tons of marijuana business, we couldn't find an actual safety data sheet for the product, so.
Maybe this will become the standard.
Yeah, but
Okay.
it makes sense that it's, you know, obviously just, it's informative,
Okay.
if not anything.
I think that being the case, I think we just need to make sure that the, public safety, folks
The fire
here in the
department,
town,
police
in
department.
Hubbardston, get copies of this here, and that they're instructed on the fact that this is going to be something that they will have at some point in time on their facility.
Can you send us over another clean copy of it?
Sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Can you put a note on it, excuse me,
Go ahead.
it just says, next to standard operating procedures as set forth in cannabis
Okay.
control regulations.
Yep.
So
Sure.
they know who's
No-
operating procedures.
No problem at all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep,
That's probably gonna be the standard now.
yeah.
It will become the standard. All right,
Yeah, and if there's any better citation you can give to that, that would be helpful too, so that somebody looking at it.
You want me to correlate the numbers to the source?
if you have that,
Okay.
and then
Sure.
the other thing is if you have, I mean, typically, when you have something like leafly.com,
Yep,
I understand that these are general pages. If you have the exact page where this was extracted from,
okay.
so you can basically say, you know, this was from leafly.com
I'll
at
footnote
such
it
and such. If
properly.
you have that
Sure.
available, that would be great.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
not a
full
problem at
address.
all.
Yep.
Any other questions on this document?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alright. So let's move on to the decision. Do we feel like we need to read this in the entirety, or can we just go section by section and see if there's any comments on the individual sections?
Mike?
Sounds good to me.
I'm all set, I read it.
Yeah.
So I guess,
You got a copy.
I brought your folder and not mine. Is there an extra by any chance?
I'll share with Bill, here you go.
yeah,
Oh, thank
I
you.
think I have
Sorry
it.
about
I
that.
think also we ought to sign a couple of these.
Yep. So,
Don't ink them up, at least there's a couple that should be left clean maybe if we're gonna sign them.
So I caught up with Mr. Murray before the meeting. He is not attending tonight. But he did state to me that he did find this to be acceptable and that he did have conversations with the applicant and that you also were happy with the language that was in there
Mhm.
so far. So,
Yeah, Patrick and I both went over it and were pleased.
Thank you. All right, so let's just run through these sections, and if anybody has any place where we need to stop and discuss. So on the first page, which is just the petition section. Second page, lists the parties, the location, and it talks about the history with the planning board. Section 6 lists the exhibits that were presented. And then section 7, which is the findings specific to this permit, and this I will read for the record. Finding 7.1, the approval hereby is granted based on, although that underscore appears to actually be in the document. That looks like a,
All right.
Yeah.
based on and specifically applies to a parcel of land located at 56 Gardner Road, shown on Assessor's Map Sheet 5 as Parcel 80. 7.2 finding, the site is in a commercial zoning district. 7.3 finding, the proposed use commercial marijuana facility is a use permitted in the commercial district subject to a site plan approval and grant of a special permit as previously granted by the Hubbardston Planning Board on May 20th, 2021. The proposed modified use on the site, processing of cannabis using cold water extraction process, is an allowed use within the commercial district per zoning article 4, 4.4H as light manufacturing as defined in article 2, 2.15. 7.4 finding, the site currently has 3 structures on it. These structures will have been repaired, upgraded for the proposed use. No additions or changes to the exterior or building or footprint of the structures are proposed. Modifications to the buildings for the proposed use will be fully enclosed within an existing building that contains an odor mitigation system, and the interior changes are determined to be minor. 7.5 finding, the applicant has stated that no new employee will be required to undertake the processing proposed. No additional infrastructure or parking spaces are required to accommodate the processing. 7.6 finding, the planning board finds that based on finding 7.4 and 7.5, that a site plan submittal is not required for this application. 7.7 finding, the petition as contained herein satisfies the mandatory findings for special permit granting authority as required in Article 7 of the zoning bylaws. The proposed use will have an acceptable environmental impact, will be consistent with the land use objectives of the town, and there is a typo space there, will comply with these zoning bylaws and will comply with bylaws and regulations of the town and applicable laws and regulations of the Commonwealth. 7.8 finding, all marijuana establishments shall be in conformance with MGL 94G and 935 CMR 500 and Article 22 of the Hubbardston zoning bylaws. The board finds that this application meets those requirements. The project is also independently regulated by the Massachusetts Cannabis Control Commission. 7.9 finding, this approval shall not be deemed approval by the Board of Health, the Conservation Commission, Highway Department, Fire Department, Building Department, or other authority having its separate jurisdiction and inspection requirements. Any questions or comments on anything in that section other than those
Sounds
typos?
good. Yeah.
And then standard conditions. Any questions or issues with that section?
So quick question, why are we calling that a 7.10? Is that under the finding, or is that a separate, should that be number 8? So we have section 7, which is the findings, and then afterwards we have 7.10, which is standard conditions. This is not a finding, correct? So does this have to be enumerated differently?
I do believe you are correct.
If we could sign this though,
Yes.
Yeah.
just a couple inked in changes, the registry will take it.
Okay.
And we've kept him waiting a long time.
Yep, no, that's fine, I mean, I just wanna make sure that what we're presenting here,
He doesn't have a number in front of general conditions, so maybe you could just ink out the number altogether, just put a line to the 710.
7:10.
Well, because then it goes on to 7-11 additional special conditions. And then there's no 8 and it jumps to 9.
Okay, well,
Yes.
see if you can fix it. I don't know, I mean, it's up to you, but.
so maybe it's maybe that would be 8.1 would be the standard conditions, right? And then 8.2 would be the
Alright, I have some marks on this copy. Does someone else have?
general conditions.
Mark up one and then we can make them on the others.
Yeah.
It's only a couple of little things.
I think this is just a numbering issue here, so it should be
Yeah.
8.1 and the other one should be immediately after that. General
Okay.
conditions 8.2 and then additional special conditions 8.3.
Alright, so this is a version that I printed out. The only change in this version from the version that is in the drive is I fixed the spelling of my name on the signature line. Because the spelling on that was Monroe.
Okay,
We could use this for the clean copy version for signing. If that
But I
makes
think you
sense.
should mark up one so we've got a duplicate too.
Yeah,
I've had that lost, an original lost. So I think, who has in charge of signing, of getting it to the registry? You are, or the?
We are. We usually, well, yeah, with the last special permit, my lawyer.
Okay, so you're gonna give it to your lawyer to
Yep.
do it? Okay, cause he'll know, he has to get it back, a stamped
Right.
copy, time-stamped back to us.
That's right. So, and then after, you guys, we sign it, and then the 21-day appeal period starts tomorrow? Is that right? Is there,
Is it from when it's signed or when the recorded copy's back at the clerk?
I believe I can't take
I
it
think with the ZBA, it's
to
always
have
done only
it
the next day it starts.
recorded until.
Oh, until the 21
Until
days
the
is
21
passed.
days is up, so I think it sits with,
With
Lori.
Lori.
Okay,
Yeah,
the
for
say the
21
original
days.
signed
21
That's how the
copy.
days.
ZBA is.
Yep, yep.
Okay, well,
Alright, so this copy, this isn't gonna be one of the official marked ones, cause I have a bunch of other marks on it. I'm just gonna use this one so I can mark up the other ones. So, where do we think that 8 was meant to be?
In my opinion, bottom of page 4, where it starts the
Standards.
conditions,
7.10.
where it says
should be
710.
8.1.
It should be 8.1.
Well, are we also gonna have a problem with the registry because it says page 8 of 10 on the final page?
Probably.
Yeah, they're gonna wonder where are the other 2 pages.
Yeah, are they gonna be okay with us marking it up to that extent? I really want to get you out of here with a signed document, and I apologize for the delay.
Wait, I have.
We're working.
No, it's, I mean, honestly, if we
4:10?
just wanna give Bill the weekend or tomorrow, and as long as somehow we can get it signed early next week, we don't need
I
to
can come
sign
in Monday and sign it.
a raggedy copy.
Where is the problem with the page numbers? Oh, one
the
of.
very
The
bottom.
page number's at the bottom, it runs
Yeah,
up
it's
to
a 1
8
of 10, this ends with 10. 2 of
Yours?
10,
No, this one ends with
3 of
8,
10?
8 of 10. The
4
ones
of
you have.
10, 5 of
Go
10,
to the very last page,
6 of 10, 7 of 10,
yeah, and then there's
and
8 of 10. And there's no 9 of
Oh,
10 or
1
10
of 10.
Yeah, the 9 of 10
I
and
see
the
what
10
you're
of
saying.
10.
Okay,
Because when they get it, they're gonna say, okay, why, what happens?
where are the other 2?
Maybe
Unless you
could-
put something at the very end that says page intentionally left blank.
Two blank pages handwritten at the bottom. 9 of 10 and 10 of 10.
What if we just blot out the very, and just copy it?
I'll ask some
So,
of my
so
more
you're okay
esteemed-
with receiving this here on Monday?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, let's get him to, he can fix it up.
We wanna do it right so that you
Yeah.
don't have this
back
rejection
on
coming
you.
back and then we start the clock
What?
again.
Completely,
Can
it's fine.
can all 4 of us
It's-
get in to sign it for Monday?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Can we okay it today? It's not gonna go to the registry yet anyways, why can't we start today?
And give it to you with those corrections as a vote.
We've already approved it
Yeah.
with the corrections. And then we sign it before the 21 days are up, is that legal? I believe it is.
Well, I defer to Alice's experience on that, being
I think if we don't send it back to his hands, and we mark up the copy that we have signed,
the.
He's still gonna review it.
and then we vote, and, you know, we just make a vote requesting that the corrections indicated on the document that we're handing in
Mhm.
be corrected by the clerk and submitted. I think we can do that, can't we?
I mean, would everybody have to get together to sign it?
So that's my
If Bill
worry.
fixes it and then Lori has it, I mean, I know it's inconvenient for everyone, but if everyone stops in and signs it and then she
Well, it isn't
starts-
like we
Yeah.
only have one day to do it, we have more than one day, we could, you know, if I can't make it Monday, I could
Yeah.
go on Tuesday.
Sure.
Well, yeah, because we can approve it for signature today with the
Right.
corrections and the actual
No,
physical.
nobody's
sign.
in tomorrow, right?
No one's in on Fridays.
No. I think it's legal because it's not gonna go anywhere, it's gonna sit in the,
On our desk.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But at least your 21 days will start.
Okay, and if
That's
not,
okay.
we're not, it's like, if it'll be 3 days later, it's not the end of the
Well,
world.
So-
try to do the right thing, you know?
Thank you, yeah.
Okay.
So to make sure I understand what you're saying procedurally, you're suggesting that we actually sign it with the corrections and.
Right, with the paper, you know, clipped
Yep.
it together, right?
Yep,
And then have a vote that the inked corrections, clerical errors be corrected before it's submitted to the registry. I think we can do that, but.
But we would
No,
still have
the-
to
The only
sign
issue
it.
is that page 8 out of 10 needs to be corrected, so it reflects
Well, that would be
that
one
it's
of the
eight-
corrections you're gonna ink.
yeah,
Indeed, but that's the page that goes with our signatures, and that needs to we need to make sure that that page is absolutely correct.
Matches.
yeah. Well, I think what I would do for a solution to that is I would go to every page and then just strike through 10 and put 8.
Right,
Fine.
and then we sign the corrected one, And then after it's all changed, we come in and we sign
Mhm.
the proper one.
Okay,
But at least it's legal that we signed it
Yeah.
and approved it.
I don't, I leave it to you. I've fixed lots of documents at the registry of deeds with typos in ink, but maybe they don't do that, like they do that anymore, I don't know.
Okay, well, that sounds reasonable to me, so.
I just worry about getting us all together and then, you know, Francois is gonna be with us for a while
Are you leaving?
Well,
and his
and-
vacation season.
not until August, so I'm
Oh,
fine.
Oh,
good. Okay,
okay.
great.
And I'm sure as you're aware, land use is down to just Monday and Tuesday nights at this point.
We'll say that again, sorry.
Land use is only open 4 to 8 on Monday and Tuesday nights.
I
so
just got
that's-
that email from Mallory, yeah.
Yeah, that's challenging too.
Okay.
But Bill could send the corrected pages if he's
Yeah.
to him, for her to just incorporate.
Yeah, then I
And-
guess if we have to go back and re-sign, we can just sign it with Lori.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
so I guess let's go through the rest of the sections, find out if there's anything else
Where
other
were
than
we
the
now?
number.
Did we want to
7?
clarify this here?
7.1.
Yeah, we're
No.
gonna need to clarify that. So,
You're at the
Right
top.
here, you just
On
put
page 4?
line through
Yeah.
7.1,
That should say 8.1, I
make it
think.
8.1.
so 8,
Instead of 7.10, it
Well-
will be 8.1.
should
Yep.
it just be 8.0 because there's a 1 underneath, or?
There isn't a 1 under, oh, there is.
Yeah, but you don't need the one where you put the 8. It's
Well,
the
actually, if you make it
conditions,
8.0,
I think he did actually mean that to be part of this section, because
Oh.
findings, conclusions, waivers, and conditions.
oh, okay,
Oh,
right,
alright.
I think you're
That
makes
right,
sense.
yeah, okay. So no
My
Change.
changes,
apologies
Right.
then.
no changes,
Okay.
okay.
So then,
right? Top of 5.
well, but there's still an issue because it jumps to 9,
Yep.
because it goes. So if we look at standard conditions as one thing, then we look at
Special conditions.
general conditions, then additional special conditions at 7.11,
You
and
know
it
what
still
follows?
goes 9.
And then we need to have 9 be actually 8.
Yeah,
Okay,
does that make sense to everybody?
it does now.
So special conditions becomes 10?
Nope,
Nope.
appeals becomes 8.
8.
Because special conditions, so findings, conclusions, waivers, and conditions.
Which is top of the page on number 4.
Yep, looks like it was intended to include the standard
Oh, okay.
conditions, because that's.
Okay,
conditions
yeah,
and
got it.
waivers. Yep,
Okay.
yeah, and then
Appeals would be 8.
appeals should be 8.
And just for my clarification, under the additional special conditions, the applicant shall create a first responder response summary. This is what you are,
That's it.
okay. Should we therefore ask, that this be entitled as such? First responder response summary instead of the safety data sheet for Bubble Watch?
How about safety
Oh, what
data
he's
sheet?
saying is it
Slash
appeal
Yeah.
should be
responder.
8.
Can you do that in the clean version? Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yep,
Yep.
it's just to make sure that,
It matches, yeah.
yeah, because they're gonna be looking for this here. And if it
Yeah.
doesn't match,
Right.
they're gonna say, it ain't here.
Yeah.
So you're just saying the number in front of appeal should be 8 as a separate section?
That is correct.
Yeah,
Okay, well,
either that
that's-
or we need to
okay.
put in 8 omitted, or something,
I
Mhm.
would just change the 9 to 8, unless,
Yeah.
does it throw it off? Is
Yep.
there a 10?
well, there's no 10, and I don't think there's other references to 9 in the document.
Or just make it 8?
Sounds good. Yeah, because somebody goofed up with the number here.
Alright, so let me actually make the changes to this copy.
And you were here for the vote, right? Yes. So Erica can sign it, too.
Yes. And she voted.
I did.
Yeah, she was here. Okay, this is good.
Why we sign it, I just had one, it isn't really a question, it's just you're aware that this, like the regular special permit, has a 3-year, to come back to us, okay? So,
Alright, so I'm striking out the 9 and making that also an 8.
This says 20-day appeal period.
yeah.
That was 20.
Oh, okay, 20.
Should we, on the last page, just to be clear, it does say that after due consideration of petition, the record of proceedings, testimony of all butters and other concerned parties, and based upon the findings set forth below, the board on June 16, 2022, by a unanimous vote of all 5 members present. That was really actually 4 members present and a alternate, right? Do we need to qualify that? We still have the majority, which is what we were looking
Yeah.
for.
I hear what you're saying. Well, it was 5 members.
It was.
present, it's just one of the members was also an alternate.
That's what my question is that important to note here or not?
Alice, have you seen that before? And do you?
On the very
You know,
last
it
page.
said, on the last page, it does say, it's not alternate, it's associate member.
Or associate member,
And
yes.
it identifies her
Associate.
there as an associate member, so I think it's okay. On her signature line,
Okay? That's-
Are you
cause she is a
comfortable with
member
that?
of the planning board, she's just an associate member.
Yeah.
Okay.
right?
Okay?
Alright, anything else? So
That's it.
just to recap what the corrections were, the page numbering at the bottom, the of 10 was struck through and changed to of 8. We changed the title for appeals, 8 instead of 9. We struck through the 9, and the spelling of my name was corrected in the signature box to be M-U-N instead of M-O-N. Is that a fair summary?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
And
Yes.
I believe we need a motion on this, correct?
I make that motion.
I'll be seconding the motion.
All right, and any discussion?
Nope.
All right, let's have a vote.
The die,
Erica
Woman's
Dack,
eye.
aye.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Go ahead, Erica.
Erica Dack, aye.
Woman's eye.
Steiger, aye.
And Monroe, aye. So the motion carries unanimously, and we've accepted the application, the decision
Yep.
as drafted
with those 3 corrections.
with those 3 corrections, and that is now our decision, so.
Just need logistically to get together.
Well, so we're gonna throw our signatures on this copy.
Yep.
Correct? So,
You're gonna pass that. Do you wanna have 2 copies, you said?
You wanna sign 2 copies? I think it makes sense, but,
yeah, do we?
but he can't get a signed copy till
Till the corrections.
Yeah, do we have another clean copy?
I have complete copied it for the 3.
All right.
You wanna make those changes there and then pass
Yeah.
this, you wanna pass that one along or you wanna check
Yeah,
this first?
let me sign it and send it down.
I think after this, you're all set.
Yeah,
No more,
excellent,
We've had
Is there
pretty
any-
cooperative weather.
Anybody got a paperclip handy?
amazing.
Oh,
Yeah,
not
paperclip.
looks like 4 days of rain next week.
That's
so-
fine too.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, where the
It's
paper
great.
clips you had
It's
before.
perfect.
I have a paper clip, here you go.
Oh, there you go. Here's one. That's way too fancy for my,
Do I sign this one? Or I, no.
You're the recipient of the signatures.
when did you start this process? How long is it taking you from?
Well, we're in our 3rd year. Yeah.
It's been 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, since just about.
I can't remember what, because I know when it started, but
Yep.
Didn't think it was that long.
But it's, we're excited, we're moving right along now.
Good for you.
This, actually, the back page is two-sided. No, turn it around.
Give me a minor heart
You
attack
can't do
for a moment.
two-sided anymore.
No, I just put the other way around.
I was like, what do you mean? It should have been 9 then.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, did you put a copy of this in there too?
I don't have the final copy yet.
He's
I have to
bringing
make
it.
some
to
Oh,
us.
that's right,
We'll
that's
be
right,
sending
okay.
it.
I'll email it to you and Bill and Mallory and.
Christopher,
Christopher, Christopher now, okay, right.
we gotta change,
Yep.
you're the chair on our
Yep.
webpage.
Is that one?
We're have a lot of struggles right now because the town administrator's taking a different job and Mallory's taking a different job, so
Where's
Well-
Mallory?
She's leaving.
The town?
Yeah.
Goes to a nonprofit. She's still working Monday and Tuesday nights just to help us out through the transition.
Oh, wow.
But she already had a ton on her plate, so that few hours to try to help out with as much stuff is it's a challenge.
Oh, she'll be missed.
Absolutely.
She, if you go back in the history of the town, we had different people in all those positions, and they don't stay because of usually the wages, and they get offered better jobs so they learn the job and go on, and she ended up taking over all these jobs, and now we don't have anybody.
yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
no, she really will be missed. I mean, she was just, a pleasure to interact with, you
Yeah,
know?
she was a very bright woman.
And very knowledgeable,
Yeah,
so she. if you-
extremely.
yes.
Quick
Yeah.
study, there's a purple paper.
Oh. I was trying to steal that. There you go,
Thank you,
sir.
Thank you.
Alright, so I will get these to, I will let Bill know about the edits and I will get them to Laurie.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank
All right.
you.
Good luck.
Thank you very much. And again, extend the invitation, anybody who wants to come in, come check out the farm, looks beautiful.
How do you do
know.
it? How do you get a hold of you?
Well, my phone number's on record, definitely, but I can,
Cause I've
of
gone
course.
by and looked, but you don't, there's nobody around.
Well, right next to the gate, we have a doorbell. We have a
Oh,
ring
okay.
doorbell that rings everybody's phone.
Oh,
And,
alright.
you know, like, we're, you know, a little bit of heads up just is always great, but anytime, I mean, we're there and the place, like, just looks amazing right now. So, you know, considering, you know, everybody knows what it used to look like, so.
Alright,
Yeah,
I'd love
well,
to see it,
yeah.
just to see what.
I'll
what it
forward
is.
your message to everybody on the board anyway, so they'll get your contact information on
Great.
that.
All right, thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Have a
Nice
good
to
night.
have a
Have a good
tour,
night.
thanks.
Alright, so.
Here's a clean copy, just in case.
Okay. So moving down the agenda, implementation chapter of master plan. We didn't hear anything back from Jonathan again yet, so we don't have much to talk about here.
Oh,
So,
Christopher, don't we have to approve Bill's fee or?
we do that
Oh, I
further
see,
down.
I see, okay.
Yep.
Yep, sorry.
So moving on to 5, under new business, the public hearing with the ZBA is scheduled for 7/21.
Do we have a time for that?
I have a question for you,
Mhm.
because I'm on the ZBA. We also have an email that came out and said our meeting's on the 11th. And I'm reading here, our meeting with the ZBA is regarding what?
Vertex.
Okay,
Vertex
all right, so.
It's the public hearing.
Right, okay,
Yeah.
I just wanna make sure I got everything in the dates all right, okay, so I got one of the 11th and
And the 21st, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, and we're still working on the logistics of what the right way to do that's gonna be, because I'm pretty sure we're gonna wanna be on the other side of the building for it. I think we're gonna have
Right, 'cause we need
a bunch
more
of
room.
people, yeah.
But no time yet.
But I don't have the time yet, I believe. I didn't get a copy of the notice from Mallory. I reached out to just make sure that the public hearing notice had been posted. Is it posted on the website yet?
I'm gonna check right now. CBA, 6:30. and there's a select board meeting at the same time, same day.
Is that the 11th?
Oh, I'm sorry, this is the
Yeah,
11th.
that's the 11th.
Apologies. You're right.
I'm sorry, I threw up.
21st is, there's nothing yet.
Okay, so I'll follow up with Mallory and find out what the status of the advertisement on that is and what the public notice is, because there's obviously requirements for that to have the public hearing.
Yeah, it isn't in the calendar. When you have her fix his calendar, can you also have her put you in his chair?
Yep. And fix the spelling of my name.
I tried calling the town office the other day, and the phone system wasn't even working.
Yeah, we're in a little bit of a transition period.
Now, when's Ryan's last day?
I don't know off the top of my head. I believe it's a relatively short notice period for him. It's shorter than I thought. It's only a month or so from when his notice was. So we're gonna work through a lot of change. That's also one of the reasons the agenda for tonight is relatively light, and I'm also planning on keeping the next couple agendas relatively light, because we need to get back going with the offices in town. Alright, so walking down the agenda here, 26 Worcester Road. We received some Bill actually received some correspondence about this. I believe they've actually put in a petition or an application. The owners of this parcel are looking to move forward, trying to get us to release them from the bond on the basis that the area has reestablished itself as wildlife habitat. And they've actually reached out to Natural Heritage that oversees the endangered species list and areas that are identified as habitat for endangered species. Bill is working with them to coordinate a site visit. It looks like that site visit is going to be sometime in August. But we're gonna need to see what happens with Mass National Heritage on this, because if National Heritage gets involved and it is identified as habitat, a lot of this is gonna come out of our hands. There's still gonna be an ultimate, in terms of what goes on for the reclamation. But in terms of what goes on with the bond, I think we're gonna need to reach out to town council and ask a question there. Well, I guess I have a question for the board. The submission that we received originally from them, I can't remember what meeting it was off the top of my head. Do we believe that constitutes a written application for removal of the bond?
I think you still have this decision out there that they've gotta comply with, so there needs to be a document, an amended, I think they have to file for an amended decision, to amend the decision based on new findings and whatever.
Well, because I haven't looked at the original copy of the special permit, but looking at the general bylaw,
Yeah.
for earth removal, there's section 11, that it gives you 3 criteria you're supposed to meet, and you're supposed to file an application. I don't believe there's an actual application form that we have unless somebody else is aware of it.
For return of the bond?
Yeah,
Well, I'm not aware of one. I would think a letter would do, but they've gotta have something we can act on. And I think Bill will have to draft it,
yeah.
so,
And incorporate the sections of the bylaw that are specific to how do you remediate, right?
yeah, or just state the change of circumstances.
Yeah.
Which would be the finding of the species at the time that's gone by. I mean, we could cite some other circumstances, that it was impossible to do it at the time during the proposed time frame because of the lack of the Casella product. And since then, these species have moved in and whatever the changes are, right? And then whatever still needs to be done, do we need a contour map, do we need changes to the map to show what the contours are now?
Yep.
Or maybe those contour maps were the original contours and the original, because he hasn't changed
Right.
anything, right? So they may
Right.
already be on file, but Bill needs to sort it out for us.
Okay.
It's the only way.
Yeah, and he's working on it. This is still pretty early on. They just reached back out on the 5th.
And the only thing I would
Yeah.
caution about that is, they need to also submit some kind of an official document for revision of the decision based on the evidence. And then Bill's gotta write that decision, and he has to, just like we do with a regular special permit, give an estimated fee, and that fee has to be paid for by the applicant, right? So it needs to be sent. So what I would do is I would ask Bill what he expects the applicant to submit, right?
Mhm.
And then what he needs to submit in the way of a request to get his bond back and in the way of a revision to the application. And then Bill needs to tell us, and if he can roll in his site visit in it, what it will cost for him to draft that decision for us. And then we've gotta clear that fee with, I've forgotten the gentleman's name, but the owner, the present owner of 26.
Mhm.
It's not really a special permit, it's it's only a majority vote, I remember it was, it's in there it's a,
Yeah, it's the earth removal's under the general
Right.
bylaws, not.
certificate, I
Yeah.
think, or something called, yeah.
Okay, so I'll work with Bill and we'll keep track of this and I'll go through the file, which you previously had.
You could walk it with him if you want to, too.
Yeah, that's the plan. I think we'll find out if that's appropriate to also just post as a possible meeting so that everybody gets the opportunity to look at it.
Yeah,
I
Be
think
good.
that would be the ideal way to do it. But it's all very early, the conversation only started in the last day or so. I just wanted to make sure that the board was aware of the conversation and what the thoughts were so far about this. Are there any other questions or concerns on that, understanding that's pretty early on?
did you post his request, was it a request in writing that I missed? I didn't see it in the documents, I'm just saying if there's a letter to be responded to.
Yeah, there's not a letter for us to respond to yet
Okay, okay,
as a board.
okay.
It was,
Okay, you can all do it.
yeah, it was just an effort for them to keep Bill in the loop
So then-
on what they were thinking and that, to let him know that they had reached out to Natural Heritage, and that they were investigating the existence of endangered
Mm.
species on the parcel.
So just ask Bill what we need to do if we, assuming, we're gonna recognize this argument. What would the procedure be, right?
Alright, sounds good. Anything else on that? Alright, so moving down the agenda here, 36 Gardner Road, which is the storage facility. We had received a complaint from a resident about construction outside of the hours specified on the special permit. Mr. Murray had reached out to, I believe it was the engineering firm that had worked with us on the special permit, who immediately got a hold of the applicant and the construction company, and they apologized profusely and said it won't happen again. It is the first complaint that we've received from them. I know they're pouring concrete and that sometimes becomes.
They were starting at 5 in the morning
Yeah,
and moving the heavy equipment around with the backup alarms going off.
This is a storage facility.
the storage facility.
Yeah, during the
Yeah.
construction phase.
Well, good, you called them on it and they agreed not to do it.
Yep, we've only received the one complaint though on it.
And it
so-
went away,
Did-
so that's good.
Well, as far as we know, we haven't heard back from the resident that complained.
Did the
We have a
resident
date.
know we responded? Was the
sorry?
resident told we responded?
Yeah, the resident was told that we
Okay.
responded. Both Bill and I responded to the resident about it.
Do you have a date when that occurred?
There were a couple dates where it occurred. Are you looking for the date of the complaint, or?
I'm looking for the date and when this occurred.
There were a couple dates of when it was alleged to have happened.
And it was during weekdays, not weekends? Or there's some additional restrictions in typically in terms of when they can start?
Actually, I go up and down that road and they don't work on the weekends at all.
Yeah,
Okay,
I go by that a lot.
I believe it was a weekday that was alleged, but
Okay.
don't quote me on that. But we hopefully believe the issue is resolved, but wanted to make sure the board was aware of it and that we're gonna track that, and if there are other violations, we should bring them back in to talk about it. But at this point, let's just hope it was a one-off. Anybody else have any other thoughts or feelings on that, or?
I think we've done as a board what needs to be done, and complaint has been assessed, reviewed, and acted on, so unless there's a repeat offense, really something else we can do at this point in time.
Any other thoughts or? Okay, so moving forward, matters not reasonably anticipated by chair. There's really two things that I wanted to bring up and talk about. The first one is, and I don't think we need to make the decision tonight, I think we need to talk about our schedule.
Mhm.
And the reason for that is because MRPC meets the first Thursday of the month. And that's also when we perpetually have a planning board meeting scheduled. And I think it's gonna be important for us to be better represented with them, because there's a lot that they do for us and there's a lot that they could do for us. So I don't know if the right answer is maybe our schedule becomes first Wednesday, third Thursday, or if there's something else that makes sense. I wanted to open the floor to discussion about that. I don't believe we have to make the decision tonight, but I think we should make the change so that we can send our representative to MRPC. Because they're a pretty big partner for us.
So the deal with MRPC is every community has a member.
We actually have two. So there's the one from the planning board, and there also appears to be one from the general public, which is Michael,
Oh, I didn't know that, so.
yeah, I went back and I looked at some of the notes. He hasn't attended a meeting in a while. I believe he used to be a selectman. It's Michael, starts with an S for the
Maybe it
last name.
hasn't been updated in a long time. But they were aware that we met on the same night, cause I did notify them, and they do put out minutes, so if it can't be done, you can have some input. Part of it is, for them, I mean, the minutes are good, it's nice to know what they're doing, because that's where all the grant opportunities come through them. But a fair amount of those minutes, if you read them, are, they're running their own business, right? So, a lot of it relates to who the new employees are and what the balance sheets are and that kind of thing. But, yeah, ideally, if we could send somebody, we used to meet on Wednesdays. And I could do that, but I don't know what anybody else's availability, but.
What are some of the other thoughts around the table?
I think, from my perspective, it depends on when we start this here, as you know, August. I just wanna also declare right now, I am out of the country starting the 30th of July, not returning until the 22nd of August. So I will be gone during that period of time. Anything that happens during the period of time, I'm not here, but after that, I have a certain amount of flexibility. So, let me know, and then things can progress either
Yeah.
Wednesdays or Thursday, depending on what we decide, either one way or the other, based on what everybody else's availability is.
Well, and the reason that I throw out as the first suggestion to do it as first Wednesday than third Thursday, even though it seems more complex, is because all of the Wednesdays deeper into the month are all claimed by other boards and committees, some of which are ones that we have liaisons at, like the EDC. The EDC standard meeting is the third Wednesday. So I think we could do it that way and not interfere with our commitments to other boards, if it works for us as individual scheduling. But I wanted to
It
at
would work
least
for
get
me,
the thought
first
started.
Wednesday, third Thursday.
Yeah.
It would
Right
work
now,
for me,
it'll
but-
work for me unless something changes.
Starting?
Well, it depends upon what we decide. This summer is this is the summer of challenges,
Mhm.
because with Mallory moving on and with Ryan moving on, it's gonna be tough for us to get some stuff done. Do we want to make that change for August?
Or do you wanna wait till September?
I think possibly waiting for September might make sense, just because I think it eliminates the possibility of more confusion trying to get our meetings posted.
Okay.
Cause everything is challenging to get done right now, because everybody's so overspread.
So the first
You talk-
Thursday, I'm sorry, the first Wednesday in September would be the 7th. And then the 22nd would be the third, I'm sorry, the 15th would be the third Thursday, which is a week immediately thereafter.
Oh, cause it's the odd numbering days.
Yep. Do you wanna do that the 22nd?
Wait, is it?
Yeah, September the 1st is a Thursday,
So if we meet on the 7th, we'd be meeting again on the 15th.
and
I
so
see.
it would be the 3rd
Oh, so
and the 15th, or do you wanna do it the 7th and the 21st,
Would
the
it-
22nd?
wouldn't it be September first though?
No, because this is a Thursday.
You wanna switch
Oh,
to the
oh,
It
right,
is the
right.
first Wednesday of
So,
the month.
yeah, so it would end up, because of Labor Day.
Mm-hmm.
That would help me out too.
Well, I think it's gonna depend upon what comes up on our calendar, on whether or not we're even meeting that week.
Sometimes if you have the five weeks, and so you could have 5 meetings, I have bumped it, like to the 21st, cause then there would be another gap week before you got back.
Okay. Well,
It's a 5 Thursday month, right?
It is.
Yeah.
I think
So-
we're gonna have to sort this out with Mallory and whoever her replacement is.
We gotta ask John too,
Yeah.
cause
but-
John had conflicts with fire training and stuff.
Yeah, but it sounds like it generally is gonna be acceptable.
Yep.
So the
Yes.
7th and the 21st,
22nd.
22nd. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong one.
Yeah, the
This is
7th is
September. We're gonna
Wednesday and the 22nd is
Finish
a
up
Thursday.
the
Right.
summer.
And
Did that.
and just along the same veins, so Erica, you will be definitely live on the Vertec application. So we're gonna need to make sure that everyone's here, especially since if the hearing gets continued, which it's probably likely to, Francois will be traveling, so, and Bill will be recusing himself, so.
Am I all set with, like, do I need to be reappointed?
Yes, you do.
Yes, okay.
I reached out to Lori,
Okay.
Ryan, and Mallory about that this week, and I haven't heard back on it yet
Okay.
to find out, to confirm
Uh-oh.
what the status is.
Okay.
So it had to be advertised,
Yeah,
and then it had to go in front of the select board, and I haven't been able to verify the status of either of those things, but I did ask. And I will continue asking until
Okay.
that gets resolved.
And we do have an administrative procedure that says you can continue to serve until your successor's appointed. But I wouldn't want to truly rely on that. See if
Right.
we can
Yeah.
get you appointed before.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that.
ASAP, yes.
Yeah, because there will be 4 of us, and they're gonna need a unanimous vote
Right.
because of that, so.
You gonna follow up on that? If you need my help, call me.
Yeah, I'm following up on that.
Okay.
I did reach out to John, because of that same scheduling issue.
Yes.
And he is 100% certain he will make himself available for the 21st.
And he's gotta go get sworn in.
And he will get sworn in before then, yes. So, yeah, otherwise we won't be able to do that, so that'll be a problem. Alright, so anybody else have any matters that are not reasonably anticipated by the chair? I guess we still need to work through the list of places where we're supposed to send representatives. I received some feedback from Alice on that, reached out to Tony to find out if there's any other official places we're supposed to be sending people. I haven't heard back on that yet.
What I had on my list to him was MRPC, which we just talked about, right? MJTC, which is a subcommittee of MRPC, that's the Joint Transportation, and it is a 2 o'clock in the afternoon, not in the summer, but I think it's on Wednesdays, once a month. Anyway, it doesn't have to be the MRPC rep, it can be somebody else, I think.
Do
And
you have the times and
CPC,
dates for the MRPC and the other than the MJCC?
the CPC is having to substantially reorganize, a bunch of us got off the committee. So I don't know when they're gonna set up their new dates, they typically don't meet in the summer, they meet in the spring, they pick up again. So that's hard to, unless you know that they're gonna meet at the same time, 'cause they have a right to change that. I know that Sanda had run it for like 15 years or something, really a long time, and so it's reinventing itself, and they may not go at the same time. EDC and capital planning, that's my list, but there may be others.
Yeah. Do we wanna pick off any of the low-hanging fruit we have at the moment, just to,
As I mentioned earlier, I've been with the CIPC for a few years and would like to continue with them. So I'm putting my name in
That's capital planning?
capital improvement and planning, the
Okay.
CIPC.
Improvement and, okay, sorry. I don't wanna be the MRPC rep, because I think you have to go to their meetings in person, but I think the MJTC always meets remotely, and I could probably do that. I don't understand a lot of it, it's quite, engineering, but you do hear about where projects are in the lineup, and they ask for input, so it's good to have somebody looking at that. Like, this is where the money channeled through to do all of the 68 renovations, this is it, it's a very key committee of the state, but.
and I'm happy to do the MRPC and the EDC.
Okay.
I wanna learn a lot more about their grant programs and push them on some of those issues that I brought up with Jonathan. Cause there are the equivalent of block grants that urban areas get for rural areas like us, and that can be huge for us for planning and economic development standpoint.
The CPC traditionally, I think, has been the chairman of the committees, it's a board composed of, all the major committees. And the other, it's always been the chair, like Tom Robinson did it, and I don't know whether you can appoint somebody else or not, but. If we don't have a representative on that, I mean, we do stand for that whole block, that's the affordable housing, which is 1/3 of those funds. But I think that's something you should try to take up and then have a pinch hitter if you can't make their meeting. But you can ask them, it has been the chairs of the other committees.
Yeah, I'll ask about it, if I have to do it, I will do it. If there's an opportunity for someone else, I like that idea too.
Knowing the dates and times when they meet is, I think, very critical. I mean, so you brought the MJCC is at 2 p.m. on Wednesdays.
I know that's
It's
hard,
just
that's
one of
why.
those things that,
There's no way I can
No,
do that.
but I could do that, and that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
that difficult.
but again, knowing.
EDC meets in the evenings always, but.
Yeah, third Wednesday of the month.
Okay.
I guess that's right, I should know, I've been going to all of them.
So,
But it's up for grabs anyway, they will completely reorganize, I think.
and that's CPC, that will completely reorganize you. Which one?
CPC will, I
Okay.
think. 'Cause they have to, because I think it's a committee of 9 members, of which there are some seats that aren't filled, and I think 4 people went off. And I also don't know whether that has to be appointed through the select board or not, you've gotta look at that.
Yeah,
I think it does, cause I think I had to go be sworn in.
Yeah, I think most
to
of
do
them
that. So check and see if it has to be the chair. And if it doesn't have to be the chair, maybe I'll do it.
Okay, so I guess penciled at this point, capital improvement and planning, Francois, the Artis, what is it? I know it's transportation. but-
Montechusett Joint Transportation Committee, Transit Committee,
MRTC?
yeah,
So
MJTC. MJTC.
the MJTC is currently penciled as Alice, MRPC, me, CPC, we're gonna ask the question, EDC, I'm happy to keep working on that. Anything else? Is the liaison to zoning official, or is that just something we've done as tradition?
The liaison to the select board? To who?
No, I thought we had one to zoning too. And I thought
ZBA?
that, yeah.
Oh, to the ZBA?
I'm on the ZBA.
He's
Yeah.
on the ZBA,
And I thought we had
so-
just, I don't know if we'd done that as tradition or if that's official or.
That was by accident.
Yeah.
I've been on the ZBA since the
Yeah.
early eighties and then got on the planning board, so.
Okay,
I don't think they ever had anybody.
okay.
I could be wrong, though, don't quote me.
Are there, well, I guess that's enough for now. Any others that we're missing there or?
I don't know. Sometimes the select board, there was one designated person to go to their meetings, but it's just too many meetings, so I never went to
Yeah.
their meetings unless I was,
I'm sorry, to which one?
the select board
Oh,
meetings.
the select board
You
meeting.
know, they also meet twice a month, and
Yeah.
it just
Right.
got to be overwhelming.
I have challenges making it to the select board
But you have
at
a
the same time.
Good liaison that can
Yeah,
fill you
You
but-
in.
have a good reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I do talk to select board members frequently.
I think we could not have an official person there
Okay.
in that capacity.
Alright, so we'll call that all penciled at this point.
By the way, are all Zoom meetings now canceled
15th it happens, I thought.
as of July 15th or?
Oh, you
Yeah.
can't do it
June 15th?
anymore?
July 15th.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So-
theoretically, this one could have been a Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
What a shame we can't keep that active, because what a way to keep everything going. If somebody, like, Francois had to go back out to California again.
Or just
know.
even while
It's
I'm
very
abroad, I mean,
handy.
could have taken some, well, no, that.
Well, that really helped us out a
That would
bit.
have worked because that was like at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Right, right.
Yeah.
But, what a shame.
Yeah, yeah, I feel the same way.
Does,
Uh,
will MRPC allow you to meet remotely? Are they gonna do continuing remote? Cause they meet up in, Leominster, I think.
I don't know what they're gonna do after, because they're still a public body, so.
Cause the
It
MJTC has
seems-
always met remotely, but maybe
Yeah.
cause it's a subcommittee or it's I don't know why they do that, but,
Yeah, I'll investigate.
okay.
Okay, so we're gonna call that penciled in. I don't think we need to should we take a vote on that?
I don't think so.
We didn't do it last
Yeah.
year.
Okay. So,
When it's more formalized, we'll take a vote.
yeah. Alright, so old business. Accessory use, yeah, that's, I'm working on drafting that still, cause I had to go back to the drawing board with some of the feedback that we got from the Attorney General on the marijuana bylaw about how, restrictions based upon acreage might discriminate against underserved populations. I think some of that holds true with what we were trying to do with the agricultural bylaw too, by saying that you had to have so many acres to do some of these activities. So, yeah, that's currently in my court. I'm hoping this weekend I'll be able to draft that and get that committee back together to go through the draft. The town center zoning bylaw, the EDC has not yet met to talk about this again, and I know Ryan was about to take it back up, but with Ryan leaving, I'm not sure where this is gonna end up. I know the chair of the EDC has also been having difficulty getting a hold of somebody at MRPC to get the ball moving forward on this, and this is a grant that the town administrator got with the EDC for the purpose of redrawing our map for the town center overlay. So, yeah, it's kind of in limbo at the moment. Any questions on either of those?
Not on those, but other old business.
Yep.
The matter of the funding that we received to work on the solar bylaw.
Oh, yes, that went in front of the select board. They have a contract, a potential contract with MRPC.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if it's last meeting they voted on it or if next meeting they're voting on it, but it is currently at the select board.
For the purposes of
Si-
getting it approved, or what?
Signing the contract. because
Signing the
We need to
contract.
sign the contract for the work and accept the grant. And
Okay.
That needs to happen at a select board level.
It's a
Okay,
grant through the Department of Energy or something, it's a specific grant, it's like, you know, MRPC, they're not, most of them, MRPC does its own work that you can hire them to do, but then they
Right.
also offer grants from other agencies. And it was an EEOC, is that what,
Yeah.
grant?
Yeah, I've not received notice that the select board signed the contract yet, so.
okay. Cause I know that we wanted to participate in that, right, Alice?
Right,
As a-
right,
as a
and I,
planning board?
right, and I informed, who was, that's the same woman that was heading the town center study,
Jennifer.
Jennifer,
Yeah.
right?
I did have an opportunity to see that contract, and it goes through the timeline, and most of that is put on us. So that
Yeah.
will be our project.
But we got a big chunk of it done because we did the best.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we do it
And
this-
we had a pretty good working draft of what, a good outline of what we wanted, now maybe the AG changes that.
do we still have a
But no clear
timeline,
cut about, clear cuttings and boundaries and all those things.
do we still have a timeline for the fall town meeting, or is this now going to be a 2023 town meeting?
I don't think it's gonna happen by fall.
Okay,
yeah, with the turnover in the offices, we're gonna have a lot of challenges, really with any of the stuff we were hoping to get on the fall meeting,
I don't disagree.
so. We'll do the best we can, I think we'll still get some of it out there. I'll see if I can find out if, I'll investigate, see if that was signed, and I'll get that in the drive so everybody has access to it. But the contract had a breakdown of what the timeline would be for it, and some of the activities are supposed to start in July. So some of the stakeholder meetings, and I believe the kickoff for the project is actually meeting with us at some point in July.
Well, why don't you line it up and put the timeline as a document in our next meeting that we can see.
Yep, I'll do that.
I mean, if it's this July, we're already against the wall, because the
No
21st is, we
kidding.
got the ZBA joint
Right.
meeting, what other date do we really have?
Yeah,
Unless we have an extra meeting somewhere.
Well, the ZBA is a public hearing, so in theory, you could do the public hearing, although it might be exhausting, I don't know what would, you know, you never know, right?
Yeah, it's gonna
But
be
we
in
could
that
then
room, a lot of
adjourn the
people.
public hearing or continue it and then break up the two groups, the ZBA from us, and we
Sure.
could have a regular agenda to follow it.
Okay,
yeah. Oh, that reminds me, I did wanna update the board, I reached out to Attorney Parisi about the images from the visual demonstration. I have now reached out to him multiple times, and I've not gotten a response back from him on when we can expect those photos. So, I just wanted to update everybody on that, I'm going to start calling him to find out where those are at.
I
But
think you should-
I've now sent him multiple emails.
And he's got a copy of the map, so he should do that whole visual for us. He should do the blackboard with all the string and
Right,
whatever
being-
he needs, he
As
needs to.
being a butter, I was working, I never had a chance to see
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, I've been asking, crickets would have gotten back.
Right.
So I don't know if he's been on a 2-week vacation and has missed the emails, or what's going on over there, but, I'm not
Well,
super happy
don't take
about it.
on the responsibility to put the exhibit together, put it on him.
Absolutely. All right, administrative matters, approval of payment for bill for
Right.
Places Associates.
this is the invoice from Paper Crane.
Yes.
2,190. This one here?
I believe so, I did not print it out myself. Does anybody have any questions or?
I have a question on that, which is only that since Mallory's gone, you know, we had voted that these get accompanied by an administrative fee.
Yeah,
And I would like to have, when we vote it, to make sure that it goes out with the administrative fee, because that's what funds like money for us to go to conferences and
Mhm.
extra things that we have to get advice from Bill from that isn't directly tied to an applicant, so I don't wanna lose track of our administrative fee. But I'll make the motion to approve it, cause I have read it, it is for $2,190. So I make the motion that we approve the Places Associates invoice for Paper Crane at 56 Gardner Road for their work on the special permit in the amount of $2,190.
And I'll second that.
Hearing the motion and a second, any discussion?
Quick question, do we already have funds for that in our account that came from Paper Crane? Or do we need to then, at this point in time, ensure that we are getting this billed out to him?
I
I
don't know.
can't answer that question without Mallory.
Okay, I mean, I'm not saying we shouldn't approve it, it's just,
Right.
it's just a procedural question,
I don't know.
okay?
I know he was informed of the amount, whether she had him pay it up front. Usually we try to get it up front, so. But I
And
don't
it's an
know.
estimate that we request, and then afterwards the balance is due, or a balance is due, owed back to him, right?
Yeah, I guess it gets, I mean, it was a pretty, Bill lives with his quotes generally,
Mhm.
so,
But they can be off.
but they can be off.
Yep.
But we can approve this invoice anyway, and then wherever it
Mhm.
comes out to be paid for. But I
Right.
would see if we can, usually she puts an invoice on top of it with that amount and the administrative fee and sends it. So if
Okay.
you can close the loop with Mallory, that would be good.
I will follow up on that.
So we need to vote on this. You ready to vote?
Alright, any further discussion? Alright, let's have the vote.
All right.
Lived all I.
Where, I don't think I.
She
did.
doesn't
Oh, that's
vote.
right,
Yeah, I don't
Holman's
remember.
eye, I'm sorry.
Steiger, aye.
Monroe, aye.
Unanimous.
Could've, she
And
could've
it
voted.
is approved unanimously.
You don't need your vote. And it's a bill. I don't know whether that's the same thing. It's a bill.
Alright,
No.
there is no public here for additional comment, so any additional comment from the board?
I have just a couple things. I
Yep.
don't wanna lose track of the master plan, and I'm worried about it. So Jonathan Voss, that's where it ended, and he was supposed to, by this time, have gotten us the matrix and a final draft of the recreation chapter. So,
And you haven't heard from them at all? They were pretty good all winter.
well, they got a lot of, we contacted them a number of times, so I don't know what the story with that was. But he said they had to be done by July something, because that was the end of the grant. So it's like, why haven't we heard from him? And the other thing is, on the cleanup of lot 57, where I last heard about that was, I tried to close the link so that work would continue, and I don't know whether that's been closed. MVP, is that right? No, HVP, I'm bad at acronym.
Not too many.
The engineering firm that was
Yep.
doing all the, and we put on pause.
Oh, VHB.
Yeah, VHB, that's it, VHB.
Any more,
I think that it was signed and that's continuing, but that needs to be checked on. So you can put on your to-do list and you can
Yeah.
call me, and I'm happy to make phone calls, so I know you're short of help. But
Another-
we don't wanna lose track of it.
right, another thing that was on our old business, I believe, was the 248 Gardner Road. And what's, I believe now we have a new building inspector, I don't know officially.
Oh, do we have some
So-
information that can be shared?
We have a interim building inspector.
Okay,
And I know there's still some discussion going on at the select board about this, because there are some questions about whether or not that interim role and the compensation package includes enforcement. So I think we're gonna need to follow up the select board, because it looks like we just have an interim for the moment.
well, my suggestion, like I've done on other boards, is we always carry it here to make sure we
Mhm.
don't forget about it. You know, any of those things, because if we lose it off our agenda and our active things we wanna look at, then we forget about it.
That was a policy Christina set up, but it was fairly, I don't know,
Yeah.
it was fairly helpful, I
Well,
guess.
I've done
But
that on other
maybe you don't
boards.
think it belongs on the agenda, I don't know, but there needs to be a to-do list that's,
Something we carry everything, we're still not done, that we.
Backlog.
Thank you.
yeah, I mean, it might be an attachment to the agenda or something, I don't know.
Yeah, I
If you-
think possibly as an attachment of the agenda, because I was looking to start one anyways to organize projects, because we do have stuff, coming up other than the cell tower and the solar bylaw revision is a good example of that, so.
Yeah.
The problem with carrying them on the agenda that I ran into as chair is then somebody, you know, like the gravel pits, right? Ann, can't remember her name, but anyway, she'd see it on the agenda, so she'd come, and it was really
Yeah.
just a carryover, so we didn't forget it.
Oh, okay,
So you
yeah,
gotta
yeah.
make sure you don't inconvenience the public by carrying them that way.
Is there a way we can
So,
keep it with ourselves?
Yeah, I'm gonna investigate what we can do for that and still be compliant with the public meeting laws, because like in an ideal world, I would like to, like, we can't use a Slack channel or something like that, cause it'd count as deliberation. But like, if we could even just have like a checklist of like ongoing projects, so I just need to find out what we can actually do.
Mm-hmm.
Anything we do is obviously a public document, but we
Right.
also need to make sure it doesn't somehow cross the line to deliberation.
Right.
I think we can do it because we're allowed to communicate about scheduling, but I'll find out for sure. Cause it would be nice, cause Alice's point about, well, if we put it on it, people, if it's on the
Yeah.
agenda, then people are gonna think, well, this could impact my rights, and yeah, it could if it's on the agenda and we talk about it and it's about them.
Right.
So we don't wanna give people false alarms that we're gonna be having substantive discussions about things.
No, that makes sense.
So, we'll do what we can.
Couple of quick reminders, and
Yep.
especially since Mallory is limiting her time and her time schedule is going to be curtailed very soon, even further.
Already has.
One is the, I think we mentioned this here last meeting or 2 meetings ago, the fact that we still have minutes that are missing. We just do not, we just need to make sure that we have some of these minutes somewhere.
So my understanding of what was going on with that is Ryan was looking for money in the budget to just have Tony do them, or was looking at having somebody else do them.
But the
that
question
being-
is do we even have those minutes? So I think.
you have a
that-
tape of them.
I'm sorry?
You know, we always have a tape, they were transcribed from tape, from
Okay.
tapes.
Okay, so it's having the transcription done and then separately, do we put them somewhere on our
Drive.
website?
Yeah, they're supposed to be,
Yeah.
the
Because they're not.
minutes.
Because we have a lot of minutes that are missing.
Yeah, the meetings are all recorded on YouTube, so somebody's having to put them together.
They don't actually
Sure.
transcribe it, they just do the minutes from them.
Yep.
Yeah,
And we have the last ones posted here.
And then
for
last but not
July.
least is the whole issue of our zoning bylaw updates.
Oh,
The updated version of that. We need to get,
keep that going.
we need to
Yeah.
get, I mean, I think that is fundamental for the planning board.
yeah, I think that's one of the things that's gonna be particularly difficult until the staffing situation gets sorted out.
Not disagreeing,
But,
but whatever
yeah,
we
we
need
need to know.
potentially from Mallory,
Yep,
because, I mean, I think we have had a few decisions that were challenged by the Attorney General. We need to make sure
Yep.
that, what's our baseline, and from there, how do we move forward and make sure that the right version of the bylaws are
And there's a plan.
The
present.
the corrections of the bylaws that exist, which have errors in them, which are like, they refer to the wrong zoning map in one place, there's a bunch of them. I gave that file to Lori,
Okay,
and Lori, what I understand, was she thought that they didn't fit under clerical corrections. I guess she makes a distinction between errors and correct, I don't know. But anyway, that file has a lot of hours of my work went into that, debugging the.
I agree.
And
Yes.
and I wouldn't mind to, if it needs a clearance from like legal counsel to put together a document they could look at where all the changes were in red or something,
Yep.
just to
Yeah.
get it done.
yeah, and.
I mean, I can't publish it, but I could get a document ready for somebody to review. If
Yeah.
I could get that file back and then we've got the new bylaws. It needs to be done because it's just wildly out of date. We've
Yeah,
done
that-
a lot of good work in the last 5 years and nobody has access to it, the signed bylaw, any of it.
Yeah, that'd absolutely be huge.
So come up with a way to move it somehow, and I'm willing to help on that because I've done a lot of work already.
Okay.
I have it all on, you know, in my computer but I would need that file back because I don't think I kept a full copy of it.
Okay, anything else? Alright, so motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
I second the motion to adjourn.
And no discussion necessary, let's have a vote.
Livedall aye.
Woman's eye.
Steiger, aye.
Monroe, aye. And
We're
we
adjourned.
are adjourned.
We're done.
At 7:57.
You're doing a better job than I did.
That felt way longer than the clock shows.